Thank you very much, everybody. I promise to be very civilized and professional today, but I've just got one thing to say to all the ladies. Ha ha! Ha ha! Feels really good to be this close. Anyway, it was wonderful to stand at the back when the clip of Cheya Cheya was on. And it was wonderful to see everybody cheering like that. And to all the people here who are not familiar with Shahrukh's work and the film, that was a fantastic introduction to what a special guest we have here at BAFTA tonight. And what I wanted to do was really talk a little bit about how Shahrukh and his fantastic body of work, how it's... Behave. I did... Honestly. Yeah, kरेंगे हम.
Lights off कर देते
हैं. How his fantastic films that we have seen over the years here in Britain, what they mean to us as British Asians. I think for me that's really a very important thing that I wanted to talk to Shahrukh about today. And I don't know, I'm not an expert on Hindi cinema, but I know what I like. And I have to say that, I grew up in Southall, as many of you know. I saw Hindi films at the Dominion Cinema when my cousins used to take me. And at that time, I was very interested in the samosas and the Coca-Cola during the interval, often more than the movie. But then it came in, and I saw so much fantastic cinema at that time that I feel has still stayed with me. And I remember distinctly that it was only when I watched Hindi cinema at that age that I used to cry. I never cried in English films, although I used to watch them a lot on TV. And I used to go to Saturday morning pictures, but it was when I watched Hindi films that I used to cry buckets. I just needed to see Durga Kote or one of the older women coming on, and the music would start that, and she'd start crying, and then I would be in bucket, even though I wasn't quite understanding what she was saying. So there's something very wonderful about Hindi films for us. It's something very tangible and emotionally pulls on our heartstrings. And of course, after the cinemas in Birmingham, in East London, in Southall, we lost the cinemas to videos, if you remember, and then cinema came back in a big way. Hindi cinema came back in a big way, has kept many of the Cineworld multiplexes alive, as we know. And for me, I would credit two films for doing that. A very early one, I think, is Hum Aapke Hain Kaun. But the real film, I think, I would credit for that is Dilwale Dulhania. And I wanted to ask Shah, when you were making that film, did you ever have any conception of how that film was going to be seen by people like us over here?
No, I don't think, I really didn't think it would be so sexually arousing to you. It was meant to be a... no, it was meant to be a family film.
I was still single then.
Okay, let's not talk about your feelings now that you're married.
Yes.
But no, one didn't really understand. It was a film being made by youngsters. There was Aditya Chopra, now a big-time producer, and Karan Johar, who was he was the AD on the film, but all he did was to stitch buttons on our clothes. He's here somewhere tonight.
Karan is here, in fact,
here,
actually.
Yeah. And,
where are you, Karan? He's standing at the back there.
I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to thank everyone. I would answer this question also. But just thank you very much. I want to thank Mr. Duncan Kenworthy from BAFTA who's invited us here, Claire Wise, who's made this possible, family, Greg and Emma Thompson, who are here. Thank you. And I was a little odd coming to BAFTA. I had to ask, how do you pronounce it, BAFTA or BAFTA? And I'm bad with stuff like this. I have only one black suit, and I get a little nervous when I have to go and meet people who are intellectually superior than I am. But when I came down and I saw you, I know it's not BAFTA, it is BAFTA. So I'm and it's wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. And
as long as it's not buff coof.
It's
yeah.
But thank you, everyone. It's really kind and it's very humbling and wonderful to feel that I'm here and talking about Indian films, and it's only because of all of you who've seen it, and some of you who've not seen it, please see it. The DVDs are...
But what do you think it is about the films like Dilwale Dulhania, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, these films that have really captured the hearts and minds of a second and even a third generation of not just British Asians, but Indians and Pakistanis living in America, living in Australia, living in Canada, what I would call the Asian diaspora. What do you think it is that has appealed to them?
I've heard over the years it's very simplistic reasons for films like this doing well. Somebody said that these films are made for the NRIs. Which is very strange, and I think a little belittling to NRIs and to the films. Like my friend Karan always says, this is not it's not an identity that films are being made for NRIs. It's just a status given to everyone, and films are made for everyone. They are supposed to explain, say, sing, dance, whatever, and show in their own way that we're telling you a story. And I think the timing was right somewhere. Video had just sort of killed movies. And there was time that people wanted to get back to cinema. I think the youngsters like Karan and Aditya Chopra and Mr. Suraj Barjatia, and people like you, I guess, you started talking Indian cinema in the language which the second generation understood. It was not necessarily boring you with a traditional way of telling a story. It was talking their language while showing the tradition. So the parents liked it. The children sort of said, oh, it's cool, it's all right. I mean, I like MTV and Casey Kasem, but this is cool. I'm okay with this film, and this guy's wearing Polo Ralph Lauren, so it's all right. I understand these jeans, Levi's, and so I think that helped. And personally, and I'm not very modest, as everyone knows, but I just happened to be in those films at the right time, at the right age, and it has just taken off, and I think one should not belittle the importance of the audience from England, America, NRIs, and I have a lot of German friends who are not NRIs. They don't look like NRIs. They're blonde, yeah, and they like Indian films, and they said a thing to me, which I think stands for all the audience who see the Indian films. And especially when you mentioned the tune and Durga Kote.
Yes.
Yeah. I asked, I was in, I think, Frankfurt or Dusseldorf, and I asked a lady there, and I said, why do you like Indian movies? And she said, we have a button for everything. We want to go up on an escalator, we press a button. We want money, we go to the ATM, and we press a button. We want to drive, we press a button. We don't have a button to cry. And Indian films are giving us that button. And as mechanized, as German and mechanized as it may sound, but I think it has a quality of truth around it, that Indian films just let you cry. And I think, people say they make us happy. I think Indian films just help you cry. And that's a wonderful way to be here.